Hi there, happy day 18 of the ABC challenge. I want to welcome you to tonight's live stream. Thank you to those of you joining in live, and let's get started. So today we're doing letter R, and I'm going to be going over how to do the lowercase version, and then we'll do uppercase, and then I'll take some name suggestions. So if you're new around here, definitely check out below so you can catch up, see what the challenge is all about, and see how you can join. It's basically a daily challenge on Instagram. And here we go. So I brought this challenge onto YouTube to hopefully inspire you beyond Instagram. And I have some followers and subscribers here who are not necessarily on Instagram, so I thought it was a great way to connect with you guys and make sure you were seeing what's going on in another land of the calligraphy world. So hello, thanks so much for joining in, you guys. Okay, so what you see here is an entrance stroke that is extended. Okay, so that is on purpose. I'm actually going to make that a little bit darker, so we purposely went beyond the waistline. Then we're connecting that to a thick stroke, but it tapers off. This is key, okay? Tapers off back to a hairline, and then you can either gradually enter into what looks like half of an underturn, or you can do a full pressure, which I'll show you that variation in just a second. So this combination here looks like this put together. Entrance stroke extended. And when you do this second stroke, be sure to put your pressure on the left side of the entrance stroke that you just created. Watch this. Pressure on the left, taper off into the middle of your waist, of your X height. And then again, you can either gradually go into an underturn. I put a little bit of pressure, go back to a hairline, finish with an exit stroke at this point. And just keep your eye here. I'm going to do a couple of variations so you can taper off and then make an actual full pressure. So that difference being whether you want to gradually go into this underturn, or it's kind of hard to see exactly, or this is a full pressure. Okay? Or if you're not loving this top part here, sometimes you can even just follow a little bit with a hairline all the way until you get into this underturn. Okay? And then kind of piggybacking off of these variations, if you would like to play around with this top portion and get really quote-unquote modern, you can loop around if you'd like, copying the same ending part. See that? You can get really dramatic and bring it a little bit higher. This is just getting super modern and fun. I've even seen really crazy loops, and not my favorite, but I've seen it. You can also put a little bit of pressure, but just be careful not to overpower this potential hot spot here. Okay. All right. So I hope that's good for the lowercase R. Again, the key to me, in my opinion, is to taper off when you go from the top area into the waist, into the X height here. Okay. And then another version, I'm going to actually just use this area here to save some space. Another variation, and I'm kind of nervous to do this, but I'll link a card up here in the right-hand corner. I did a couple of variations on the letter R recently, and I kind of struggled with this version, but I think I kind of figured it out. I was making that second stroke too far away. So let me show you what this looks like up close. Okay, so you have an overturn. Then you are going to shoot straight up on the right side of that thick stroke. Okay, and then you're going to add a little bit of pressure on the left side of that stroke, and then loop back out, curve back around onto the, well, at this point it would be the waistline here and the baseline. I'm totally confusing you, sorry. So what that looks like is an overturn, a line straight up, just a hairline, and then I try to purposely make this third stroke not as thick as this downstroke here of the overturn, and that seems to work out okay. Let me know what you think, you guys. Are you a fan of number 1? I would call these kind of like my typical letter R's. Number 1, are you a more modern person? Do you like these versions here with the loop, number 2? Or do you like this version? I don't have a name for it, but it's just this third option. So let me know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, give me a quick comment if you like number 1, 2, or 3 better. Okay, and then we're going to do uppercase. All right, so a couple of ways to do uppercase. Let's start off with a capital stem, hairline, add some pressure in the middle, and then come back out here onto the baseline. And if you want, you can add a terminal dot that just kind of makes it finish nicely. Then you're going to have a loop here, similar to your letter B. Oh, and I always do this, you guys. I always forget to break up these strokes. Sorry. Let's go ahead and do that now. Okay. So capital stem with a terminal dot. Add that to a loop that tapers off into that stem here. Sorry, guys. I don't know if the video is kind of funky there. And my battery is not plugged in. Sorry. Are you guys okay there in the chat? Is it kind of skipping in the video? I hope it's okay. And I'm putting this all together in one stroke, but you can break that up if you want to. So let's do that all together again. Capital stem, loop, put a little bit of pressure, but then be sure to get back to a hairline. A little bit of pressure on the right side of this loop, and then into an underturn. And I'm purposely trying to keep this twist here. See this turn that I do? I'm trying to keep that a little bit above the waistline. I think it just evens, the proportion just looks better when it's a little bit higher. So that's on purpose. And then you want to, again, make sure your thick stroke is on our slant line. The thick stroke here, these are all on the slant line. Okay, so that's just keeping in our consistency. And then you want to remember, think in ovals. Okay, so here's an oval here. This is oval shape. We have an oval here. And you know what? I wanted to bring you back to the lowercase r up here. I love breaking this down even more. Look at this version, this R here. You want to imagine, I already kind of told you to imagine this is an underturn, but another way to think about how this should be shaped is as if this was an oval. Okay, so I'm not kidding when I say there are ovals everywhere. Okay, and as a quick disclaimer, remember that's just in the copper plate script, which is what I was choosing to do my alphabet in. If you want to do another script or variation, that's totally fine. But I just want to be intentional and make sure you know also what you're practicing. Okay, here's another version. So after our capital stem, you can come up higher. It's almost like flourishing the entrance into your R. So that's just a little bit of a subtle flourish. Another fun way to flourish is to, and I hope I don't run out of room here, but to play around with the bottom portion of your R. So this is one kind of standard way you've been seeing me flourish, like the ending of a letter. And this is kind of nice because then if you have a name like I saw in my suggestions like Ray that does not have any descenders, then you can fit it nicely here. And then this bottom part of the R just took care of the empty space down below. You'd want to be careful about if you have a letter with a descender. Not that you can't do it, but it's just something to be careful about. All right, let's do a couple more actually I just have one more variation. Now this one, I call it the crazy flourish. My calligraphy friends, off the top of my head, I have a ton of them, like a ton of them. Oh, I just realized I didn't do it. Sorry. Okay, that was just a warm-up. Let's go into here. Okay. And then This is just tricky because you don't want to have hot spots in your flourishing. So I'm trying to be mindful of where my thick strokes are, and as I intersect another oval, another line, you want to be careful that you don't have thick and thick. I'm purposely tapering off before I enter this area. Okay, so let's do some names. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at, I hope I don't get you dizzy. Look at how many name suggestions I got on Instagram. It's crazy. So I want to say I will get to as many as I can. But here we go. Okay, let's do Raphael in honor of Jane the Virgin. Any Jane the Virgin fans in the house? If you have no idea what I'm talking about, Jane the Virgin is a TV show that I fell in love with while I was on maternity leave, actually. Totally caught up on like, what, 3 seasons in a row, and then now they're on their final season, season 5. I'm like super sad. Okay, I totally didn't even spell his name right. I'm talking so much. We're gonna have to do this again. Sorry, Raphael. It's like Raphael. So funny. Okay, so I'll take this moment to talk about when you finish your letter R. As you notice, you have the option to connect to your next letter, to the lowercase letter that you have there, or as I'll show you in the next example, you don't have to. If you're flourishing it, or you just want to end it a little bit more subtly below the baseline. Okay, I'm gonna try to pick some unique names here. Oh, Rainia, that's pretty. And again, so sorry if I don't get to your name suggestion. I'm trying to do as many as I can. Okay, sorry, I totally realized that I just connected that one. I didn't mean to connect that one, but let's flourish this one. I've been having fun flourishing. And then we'll do, oh boy, I don't know how to pronounce this, Rudrakesh. Okay, so here I'm going to purposely not connect the ending of the R to my next letter. So I'm going to bring this down below and just taper off very subtly. Okay, R, U, Ru, Tra. Oh, this is nice because I have an R in the middle of the name, so you can kind of see what a lowercase r looks like. So after this D, I'm going to extend that entrance stroke, and then a little bit of pressure, taper off, and then gradually add some pressure in the middle there. Rudra, and then it's KSH. And I'm gonna just end this H a little bit similar to I did with the R here. Now if I take a pencil, you can kind of see how, if you want, look at all this space down below. Lots of opportunities to bring this descending stroke out here, or you can finish just out this way. Okay, you can do all kinds of things that, let's see, I don't know if that would be kind of weird. I'm just playing around here, but you get the point, right? All right, let's do another name. Ramilda. Okay, so still don't have a descender, but let's see if I can flourish some of the ascenders. Ra. Okay, I'm gonna bring this L. Ramil. Da. Someone commented the other day that she didn't love the ending of this A. She thought it ruined it, and I was so sad because I've been practicing my flourishing, and I know it's not personal. I'm super sensitive, by the way, but the point is I wanted to ask you guys what you thought of the flourishing. I've been asking kind of subtly on Instagram if you are more into the flourishing or not. And surprisingly, I'm getting more people say that they don't like the flourishing more than those who do. And I thought that was so surprising because I totally thought everybody was team flourishing. And so I have to admit, it was a little bit of a relief to know, you know, it's not about the it's not all about the flourishing. Some people just like really simple styles. Somebody wrote Rolex. How funny. Okay, Raju is a pretty short name I can squeeze onto here. So it's not quite my question of the day, but while I'm still writing, you guys, I'd love to hear from you. Are you team flourish, team not, or maybe sometimes? I would have to say I'm sometimes, because I definitely love flourishing, but my thoughts on flourishing are less is more. So I'm definitely not an over flourisher. I don't like to do too much. Oh, Raj, there's your name there. Hope that works out for you. Isela, I'm sorry, in the chat is asking, for capital R, are the top and bottom always the same width? Top and bottom. Uh-oh, what are you talking about? Oh, okay. Are you talking, Isela, about the width of this area to this area? I wonder if that's what you're talking about. So then it kind of keeps it a little bit aligned. For the most part, yes. If anything, the top, I would make this top part a little bit wider because I think it's not totally balanced. But I don't yet have a hard and fast rule for that, but for the most part, I would try to keep the spacing of where this thick stroke falls along with these thick strokes here. And play around with it. I mean, I don't like totally saying rules are not meant to be broken. There's room for experimenting and sorry guys, I was trying to look at other names. I like Ramona. That makes me remember of a book in elementary school. Ramona Quimby, I think was the book. So Isela, to finish with your question, definitely experiment. There's rules in the sense that you want to have some guidelines to follow. But I don't know. Let me, I'm going to pull over to the side after this and do a couple of experiment with a couple of R's where I don't keep the height even. Does that make sense? So let me pull up a scrap piece of paper. And if I had, for example, a really skinny loop and then I bring it out here, I don't like how this width here, it looks like almost like triangular. Do you see that? Okay, it's almost like a triangle. So the opposite would be the top is really wide and then a little bit too small. Maybe that's a little bit too dramatic. And it's just super heavy, right? It's kind of like an upside down triangle. So yeah, definitely try to keep them even. Oh, okay. Let's see. Someone in the chat is suggesting Rochefort. Interesting. Don't know how we're doing on time. I totally am anticipating this to be a long one because letter R is pretty popular. Okay, check out, you guys, what I'm going to do with the R here. So as I'm approaching another R, I'm going to bring the ending part of the R down below and not connect it. So see how I end and taper off down here? Then I'm going to come up here and pretend that if I had a connection, what is the spacing that it would be? Maybe about here, because you don't want that next letter to be too close or too far. But see how I kind of, it's not necessarily flourishing this R, but just adding a little bit of a style so it's not totally all connected. Something you can do though is you could come back here and flourish it. Okay, I'm sure some of you might be cringing depending on how you feel. Okay, or you could just keep it down here the way I had it there. Okay, all right, let's see if I can find one more short name. Oh, Royce, that might not fit. How about this one here? Rita. Ooh, that capital stem is hurting. This is what rushing, you guys, and shakiness does. So, my apologies, but I figured perfection is not the goal here, and I hope that this was helpful for you guys to see how to do the lowercase r, see some examples. I will be saving all of these names. I hope if you get a chance later to see how it's added to my names highlights. I'll be putting a call for the letter S after this. Oh boy, that's probably going to be an even longer list. So letter R done. See you guys tomorrow for letter S. I may or may not be biased, but that is the best letter of the alphabet. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, question of the day, if you didn't already answer about the flourishing. What is your perfect practice session like? So if you're on the chat, once this video closes, then I'd love to ask you to hop back on and let me know, what does your perfect practice session looks like? If you had no distractions, the perfect setup, the perfect temperature in the room, supplies, everything. I just want to know, like, if you fantasized about it, what would your perfect practice session look like? So leave that comment down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow for letter S. Look at this, 21 minutes, you guys. Hopefully I didn't turn off those of you who are watching this. Well, if you're still watching this, then you obviously didn't get turned off. So thank you for watching. Remember to catch all the info in the caption, the description down below, and on Instagram. I will see you there. Bye, guys.